Hello and welcome back to my first vlog since I shaved my head. There's definitely a lot to update you on. There's been a lot of bits going on since my last vlog where I shaved my head. So I'm just going to get right into it. So first of all, obviously people might be wanting to know what my initial reactions were after shaving my head. There definitely was a cloudy few days where I really weren't in good shape at all. So I think the main thing was when I was shaving my head, at the start you can sort of see me being very struggling where to start, not knowing quite what to do. Yes, we all learn as we sort of go. And then sort of after getting into it, after a couple of minutes, it was just sort of right, let's get this done. Just get this over with now. I was in too deep by that point, so I was just like, just knock it out of the park, get it done. And then by the end, obviously those overwhelming emotions sort of come through and you can see me quite upset. So in the interest of honesty, obviously you can see me quite upset just after I do it. I think that was all very much predicted to sort of happen. But either way, it's still sort of a big deal for me because I don't really sort of have a tendency to like being vulnerable in front of people or crying. I'm not one for crying too much anyway, but there most certainly has been quite a few tears over the last couple of weeks. So initially, of course, like I said, the start of it was quite difficult. I had the sort of like turban sort of bandana-y thing on, like I did. You see me at the start of me shaving my head. I pretty much wore that continuously 24 hours a day for about 2-3-ish days in a row. I didn't really like looking at myself in the mirror straight away. It was definitely very difficult, and I'd be lying if I wasn't to say that it is still. So those sort of upset reactions definitely sort of carried on for the first few days. After the first couple of days, I made a point of trying to walk around the house without the turban on, and getting used to seeing me with a bald head, living with it, and just generically being at home and being comfortable with it, that sort of thing. So over the last sort of week, it's definitely been a roller coaster in terms of emotions. In the last sort of 2 weeks have been in total, to be honest. 1 minute I'm very okay with it, I guess you could say, and then the next it's obviously definitely a struggle again. It seems to be really random what triggers these emotions at the moment. One moment I'm going to the toilet and seeing myself in the mirror with a bald head and I'm just fine, yeah, whatever, it is what it is now, that sort of thing. And then the next sort of day I can do the exact same thing and I'm just really struggling with what I look like in the mirror and struggling to accept that this is the new me. So for the first couple of days I was definitely continuously wearing the turban headwear like I mentioned. I did make it sort of a sole point for myself to sort of, every time I went into the bathroom, to sort of remove it and try to sort of force myself to adapt to seeing myself with the bald head pretty much quicker. I don't like doing anything by half measure, so I've read definitely stories of people who have took almost years and years to get used to seeing themselves with a bald head in a mirror. That is something I definitely didn't want to do, so I've sort of put it on steroids, so to speak, and try to speed that along. It's definitely come with its benefits, which is the fact that I definitely have come to terms with it a bit more. Now that doesn't mean that I have accepted it completely, however, it's definitely pushed that a lot further along than I thought it would be in about 2 weeks. However, it's been difficult because I am pushing myself through an emotional turmoil continuously. So every single day it's been quite a vigorous emotional exercise almost to sort of come to terms with things. So there's definitely been very neurotic moments where I will be very sort of depressed 1 minute and then just fine the next, I guess you could say. But it's definitely come with its pitfalls. People seem to get the impression that you're doing okay, which is obviously the biggest problem for me when actually you're not doing okay. but that's pretty much been the summary of my life. So in terms of seeing family and friends, up until this point I've not really seen anyone. It's been hard to try and keep people at bay because I don't think they understand how you just need a bit of time to adjust. I think that's probably the hardest thing, that's the most difficult to portray to people, is how much you just need some time to not adjust to be in front of them sort of thing, but literally for me to adjust to myself more than anything. So when you go through something like this, people have a tendency to suddenly want to shower you with showing you that they're okay with everything, and that is absolutely appreciated, 100%. Problem is, I'm not okay with it yet, so you've got to give me time until I'm okay with it, and then I'm going to be happy to see you. The other thing is, of course, to not overwhelm someone like me, me in particular, because I will do things at my own pace, at my own time, and sort of I want to do things in almost stages, so I don't want to just have a massive family gathering and feel extremely vulnerable. That's not ideal. So what I'll probably put forward to my own family, for example, is it would be good to see my closest family first, my own immediate family, like siblings, mum and dad, that sort of thing, and then see a bit more of the extended family and just sort of take it in sort of baby steps, if you will, and sort of come to terms with it slowly. Going on to the topic of the wig itself, that I'm obviously is my new home and my new hair. It's been an interesting ride. At first, obviously I was extremely upset with it. I went and got it done at the hairdresser's the day before I had my hair shaved, and then since then it's still been a bit up and down. So to start with, it still wasn't 100% complete because I hadn't cut the lace, it wasn't fitting quite right, and so me and my husband sort of had a day last weekend when I needed to go out in it for the first time, that we cut all the lace off and we got it to the point where I was most comfortable with it, and I obviously had to cut sections from my ears and that sort of thing, so that definitely took like a whole day in the end, which was not the most ideal, but it was what it was. So in terms of my first outing actually in my wig that day, like I said before, like taking things in baby steps and coming to terms with them myself, getting used to it and doing things all at my own pace. So what we decided to do was essentially I had the day where I got the wig completely sorted, so it was ready literally to go out on. Then we went out for a trip and some time out where we just drove to some friends and that sort of thing, and I pretty much spent the time just in the car, getting used to wearing it, getting used to feeling it. Obviously I have worn wigs in the past, so it wasn't completely a strange situation to me. However, this was certainly felt like a new experience in itself. It was the first time of me going out in a wig with absolutely no hair, which did kind of feel different to when I was wearing big wigs before, because obviously I'd have a wig cap on, I still had my adult hair under there. The way I fastened my wig was different back then, so I used to use gel. What I've been leaning towards now at the moment is tape. So it did definitely feel a little bit different than when I've worn wigs previously. So the good thing that did sort of come out of it was that I did get used to sort of being in the wig and living in it and that sort of thing. Not only that, it gave me a chance to see how long it took me to get ready. Gave me a test run of trying out tape for the first time, because I've never used tape before, and getting used to just how I'm putting it on, how I'm sealing it, and thinking about how I'm going to apply this for every single time that I get ready in the future. So now up until this point I've worn the wig, I think it's been a total of 3 times in total now. Definitely got a lot more used to it. It's interesting because wearing the wig has actually made me think about what I want in another one. So I miss already not being able to do my hair quite the same way as my actual hair. So think of a life skill that you've had your whole life. You know how to do your hair, you know how your hair is manipulated, that sort of thing. I've got to learn that all over again, because the way obviously you style and treat wigs and look after them, how you wear them, etc., everything has a knock-on effect to their longevity. So for me, it's been learning all those key skills from scratch again, and it's definitely difficult not having the freedom with my own hair like I used to. So I used to style it quite often, curl it, that sort of thing. Already that's a lot more difficult. As anyone who already wears wigs will know, there's certain things you can and cannot do, and there's sort of ways you want to show your wig as well. So for example, a wig like this one in particular, I can't show the back of my hairline at all because it's not really made or designed for that sort of thing, which some people who might not wear wigs will know. However, it's definitely making me think already, like, I want a 360 lace wig because I do want to do that sort of thing at some point. So I'm already missing not being able to tie my hair up in a ponytail, that sort of thing. So I'm constantly wearing my hair down. Now, obviously how I've got it at the moment, I've sort of done my hair in a bandana on purpose because I'm essentially hiding all the back of my neck anyway, so the wig's not going to show there, so that's kind of been ideal. Not to mention, the other reason I've done my hair in a bandana like this is because it's actually, to a degree, made it an easier transition for me. So we went out for a walk yesterday, which is when I first did it in a bandana like this and sort of gave it a go. And it meant that I could go out feeling a bit more like how I was before, because obviously I was wearing bandanas so much before. That's sort of what my brain is almost sort of telling me that's what I look like. Whereas when I went out in it the first time, when I very first wore my wig, I didn't wear a bandana or anything like that, and I just suddenly had all this hair and I looked like me. I still look like me, but it was a me from like 3 years ago, which was really weird. So for the last couple of years, I've obviously got used to not having as much hair. I've got used to not wearing a side parting, and I've got used to all these things about what I used to look like being took away from me. So now to suddenly have these back and be thrown in your face when you're looking in the mirror is just sort of, okay, so that looks like me, but it's still not 100% the me I've got used to, in a sense. So it's a really sort of peculiar situation. So I've kind of, in some respects, got loads more liberation in terms of I've got some of the old me back before I even was diagnosed with alopecia, because I've got my side part back, I've got my side fringe back that I always used to wear, like religiously. That was just me and my hairstyle, side part, side fringe, that was pretty much it. But on the other hand, wearing a wig continuously has had its drawbacks, because, like I mentioned, it's just a whole new world of sort of getting used to how to style your hair and getting ready in the mornings. It's definitely difficult. I think for work and long term, I will definitely be getting used to sort of wearing it on a more 24/7 basis until the hair sort of needs washing, that sort of thing, and looking at a proper long term sort of plan. While I'm at home at the minute, I'm definitely not going to just be sleeping in the wig and living in it too much, just because I don't want to damage it or decrease its sort of lifespan, so to speak. So I definitely want to be taking it off. Not only that, again, it's sort of coming back to that factor of I'm forcing myself to sort of get used to me with a bald head, which is still difficult. So for anyone wondering how long they think it will actually take for me to get used to having a bald head, I still think that's going to take months, maybe even years, who knows. I definitely don't want to be bald in front of anyone else at the moment. Obviously that's really amusing to say when I'm posting a video of me shaving my head online. I do, however, feel that is a completely different experience to doing it in person, because posting a video I can be a lot more disconnected, whereas showing somebody my bald head in person, I definitely think I will do at some point in terms of with my family. In terms of friends, I don't know yet how comfortable I am with that, but the point I'm sort of coming around to is I definitely think that will be a long-term goal, not something I'm going to be doing in the next week or so. So now going on to the subject of what support I've had since shaving my head. Thankfully I have had some amazing friends send me a bunch of flowers, and the amusing thing was I don't think they even knew they sent me a bunch of flowers when I shaved my head. They were just doing it because I think they knew I was getting upset, but either way it sort of gave me that opportunity to have that conversation with them that I was shaving my head, or had shaved my head anyway, and it would pretty much come up bang on the right time, because it was right when I was feeling pretty damn crappy that the flowers turned up on my door, so that was lovely. Family have been extremely supportive. They've checked in with me, as have my other friends as well. They have, I definitely know from conversations with my mum that they want to come see me, they want to show their support. I think it's harder to sort of try and wean them off that sort of thing. But the support in general has definitely been inundated. It's definitely been there. It's been actually extremely lovely. I've had more support, I dare say, over the last couple of weeks than I have done in the last 3 years. That's been interesting, because it's something that I feel like turning around to people and say this isn't actually a new thing. This is something I have been suffering with for a few years. I know I've now shaved my head, which makes it seem like it's come to a head sort of thing, but the truth of it is I've kind of been training for this for the last couple of years, which is probably why, to a degree, I might have been able to adapt in some respects than maybe other people have been, when obviously going to Totallis just sort of creeps up on some people, and then like they're just suddenly bald, and that I can't imagine what that must feel like. Whereas for me, going from Areata to Totallis has been more of a progressive sort of thing. Interestingly, I think I might be going towards Universalist now, so I do think I will end up losing all my hair across my whole body, but that will be something for future vlogs. So something I want to mention, obviously, while I am at it and on this vlog is if you are watching this video and you do have any questions or something that I've not answered, or any sort of generic queries about why I'm going through this experience, or what I'm feeling while going through this experience, that sort of thing, please just reach out and drop me a message. I most likely will be able to pick it up on my Instagram account. That's definitely what I sort of follow the most often. So if you do want to send me a message, please just drop me an Instagram message. Leave a comment on YouTube. I will pick it up eventually. So in summary of the video and this vlog and my first initial opinions since shaving my head, there definitely been times where I've been really low. There's definitely been moments of relief, and thank God that's all over now. There's also definitely been times of not giving a crap anymore and just, you know what, I'm over it. But I think the biggest thing is it's still difficult at the moment. It's still early days. I think for anyone else who might be considering shaving their head or has shaved their head, I think it's definitely important to take some time to adjust and come to terms with things, and sort of try not to be overwhelmed by that whirlwind of emotions. So I think that's pretty much where I am now. I think that's the summary of the last 2 weeks anyway. So that's pretty much it for this vlog today. I'll hopefully have more to update you on soon, and as I'm going through more first experiences sort of after shaving my head. But until then, please like, please subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you soon.